What's up everyone, this is NyhlekDreams back with another video, and we've gotten some really exciting news about Save the World recently. One of them is we're going to be seeing emotes come with Season 10, so I can't wait to see what happens with that when it arrives. The next one is we're going to have our birthday llamas come in this week, so I'm really excited to get a crack at that. I know we've all been waiting to get some new birthday llama stuff and get the things that we may have missed out on in the past, so with that we're going to be able to acquire some of the things we didn't get, and that's going to be also taking out the Sci-Fi llama, and that should be here around the 16th-ish, somewhere in the week of the 16th is what they said. And with that, we also got a list of what was going to be available in the birthday llamas, so I went ahead and made a tiered priority sheet that is going to go off of that list. And a couple of things that I would like to mention with this sheet is that it is opinion based, but it's going to be relative to how helpful these items are to you and not so much how you might like the item. So keep in mind that this is just a list made in order to be able to help you understand what you might want to keep an eye out for. But with that, we can head over to the list and take a look at what's going to be available as well as its importance based upon priority. So I've made a key that is color coded for you to be able to know what you're going to be going after. Green is going to be a low priority, blue medium, purple is going to be a higher priority item that'll be really useful to you, and orange is going to be a top priority where it's something that you don't want to miss out on and you want to try and get if you really can. Starting out over here in the winter category, we've got the Cloak Shadow, which is a green priority because it's a hero that doesn't provide many good bonuses in terms of support or commander, so you won't get much use out of it. Ice King up next with an orange priority because its base freezes and the ability to snare targets on the base is just really helpful, and it's actually saved a lot of missions for me. Sergeant Winter in the next one as a green priority because he doesn't provide much commander or support bonuses, and he is minigun based with the Going Commando ability, and it's just not something that actually puts out a lot of damage. Jolly Headhunter, another one that doesn't provide many good commander or support bonuses, something that could be a little useful in certain situations but not overall really good. The Frostbite Sniper, that's a green priority, it's not something that pulls out a lot of damage and is really useful. Coco 45 is a pistol with a medium priority. It's pretty good and can be used in some situations, but it's not overall really effective when in comparison to other pistols. The Pain Train is one of the best assault rifles in the game. It's definitely high up there on the list. Santa's Little Helper is another orange priority. This is one of the best rocket launchers that you can get in the game and definitely one that you want to have in your arsenal. The Jabberwocky is a medium priority that doesn't really provide great bonuses in terms of rocket launchers, and there's a few others that, will be able to outperform it. Yeoman Sniper, which is a great sniper, second to Old Betsy and Spyglass in my opinion. I find it to be a really high single target damage output. And the Basilisk was another orange priority weapon. These winter weapons actually performed really well and they did great in comparison to a lot of other top tier weapons. So the Basilisk is yet another one that could compare with other ones such as the Whisper 45. Stalwart Squire is one of your best single target like Miss Monster Killer shotguns in the game. Definitely one that you want to be able to have. The Hemlock is one of your top damage assault rifles in the game. One of my favorite choices, a personal favorite myself. And then for the Smasher Basher, we had a purple priority. Definitely one of your better hammers in the game. It's something that can put out a lot and be able to do a lot of damage as a melee. The Wicked Wind Axe, this one actually puts out quite a bit of damage, but I'm more of a heavy attack based melee weapon player, so this one for me, I found it stalling a little bit, but it definitely can put out a lot of damage. So if you're one that kind of goes for basic attack hits and find your damage in that in terms of melee weapons, you might actually find this to be a little bit higher priority because of its damage output. But personally, I would put it a little lower in comparison to other axes. And then we have Lynx Cassandra with a purple priority. She's actually really good in terms of being able to put out some damage output, but not a hero that you see running around in a lot of your missions. And just being able to use that hover also gets you in some bad situations at times with blasters or zappers when you're just stuck up in the air. So keep in mind that this is actually a pretty good damage output hero, but something that also has some drawbacks and flaws. And then in the next slot we have Sub-Zero Zenith with another orange priority. This is one of your best sniper heroes in the game, if not the best, because of the support that it offers from being able to freeze targets on your sniper hits. And so this is just definitely one that you want in your arsenal and being able to have it in a collection. And it's a hero that comes with a lot of great potential in the higher end missions. And up next we have the Rat-a-tat with a purple priority. This is one of your better machine gun pistols and probably honestly is one of the best machine gun pistols in the game. Maybe the Blastertron could beat it out, but it's definitely one that competes with other damage outputs. However, I find other pistols to be more useful than machine pistols most of the time, but that's a personal opinion. Some people might find this as a better and a higher priority pistol themselves, but just something that I feel as though is rightfully placed a little lower than the rest of the pistols in the game. The lead sled is arguably one of the best hammers in the game that you can get due to its 6 perk, being able to stack up some attack speed and go with a crit build on it. This is definitely one that you want to be able to have in terms of single target basic attack hits for your melee weapons and hammers alike. So this is definitely one that you would like to get for your collection as well. And the next one that we have is the Rat King. It's another high-end priority weapon that you want to get because it is a unique slug shot type weapon that goes great when using it with first shot Rio and being able to get those large damage numbers off of guaranteed crits with her in the commander slot. So this is definitely one that you want to go for. Up next we have the Steam Skewer. This is a really good spear that was put into the game not so long ago, and it's definitely one that puts out a lot of damage. I personally put it as a purple priority and not a top end choice because the Sir Lancelot and the Atomic Light Expander in my opinion are better spears, and the Sir Lancelot is really hard to beat, so I put this one at a little bit lower because it's not one that you want to focus over the Sir Lancelot. And up next in the road trip section we have Tactical Assault Sledgehammer, which is actually the best assault rifle hero that you can get in the game, and he's got some really close contenders for damage, but with the way that crit works and how crit build weapons are normally your top pick, the synergy between these are just so great because of his commander boost being able to give such a large crit damage bonus. And I also wanted to take a quick second to clarify that the Cram Session and Tales of Beyond sections were right here, just in case anyone missed out that it wasn't connected here. And then up next we have Thunder Thora, which is going to be one of your very useful constructors, definitely one that's able to put out a lot of use in being able to have her in the commander slot and be able to get those electrified floors proccing off on husks, and the more they walk on them the more damage they're going to take, and just being able to get that passive damage as husks are walking on the base. So this is definitely one of the constructors that you want to go for. Whiteout Fiona is another orange priority hero. This is one of the best melee weapon heroes in the game, being able to put her in commander slot and have her take care of all the crit rating that you'll ever need for swords, axes, and scythes. She's just one that is really great for that, and you can also put her in support to get a little boost for that crit rating if you were going with something that didn't quite need as much of a crit rating boost. So this is definitely one that you want to make sure you pick up for melee weapon builds. And up next we have Redline Ramirez, which is a raw damage increase to your sniper damage, and I believe if she's in the commander slot you get a fire rate increase. This is not so much one that you would choose for a commander slot bonus, but I slotted it for orange priority because of the way that her support bonus is. When you're making sniper builds, some things you have to look outside of just the commander bonus. The support bonuses are really helpful, and so she's definitely one that you want to be able to get your hands on if you use sniper builds and have any interest in using snipers, because she'll be a great bonus to add to your support team. And in the next slot we have First Shot Rio, which we were talking about with the Rat King, another orange priority hero from the road trip section here. She's just able to put a great bonus on your crit and being able to, after your reload, you get 6 guaranteed crits if she's in the commander slot, 2 if she's in the support. Not so much useful in the support, but when she is in the commander slot, this turns all those slug shot weapons and some burst assault rifles into powerhouses. In the next slot here we have Vintage Tech Penny with a green priority because she doesn't offer many bonuses. Not much to talk about this one, just something that's not really useful. Same with Wild Fragment Deadeye. Prior to the hero rework change, a lot of people really enjoyed this one. Some people still enjoy this support bonus and commander bonus, but personally I feel as though the affliction that he adds to shock towers is not that great for damage. It's a very low affliction damage tick, and shock tower is something that you use to be able to clear out smaller husks anyways, so you likely won't need that extra added damage because shock tower is going to deal with that by itself. Infiltrator Ken in the next slot, this is definitely a green priority. I'm pretty sure he just increases the radius of your smoke bombs, so this is not something that's going to be much use at all to you. The Walloper is up next, and it's a blue priority. This is one of your pretty decent hammers, but I feel as though there are better ones in the game. Typewriter is at a medium priority as well. Not because it's a bad assault rifle by any means. This is something that definitely performs really well, and a lot of people will find this to be one of their favorite assault rifles. However, when in comparison to other assault rifles in the game, this is not going to be one that's going to top the charts and be able to be something that you want to make a focus for getting. Next we have the Spyglass, which is one of your best snipers in the game. Just another high headshot damage output sniper that you'll be able to put a crit build on, and one that you don't want to miss out on if you actually like to use snipers. And the next weapon we have is the Bundle Bust. This is easily an orange priority weapon, one of the top end assault rifles that puts out the most damage in the game. A lot of people are familiar with this, and it's unique in being able to get a lot of single target damage output with its bullet burst. We've got the Bowler up next with a green priority because it does put out some decent damage, but it's not something that is very high end, and it's not one that you would want to choose over many of the other rocket launcher choices. The Dragoon here, this is one of the best shotguns in the game for AoE group clear. Personal favorite of mine, definitely an orange priority here. Then we've got the Duelist, which is a blue priority for it being a pretty good damage output pistol for single target, but there's other contenders that are definitely better in terms of being able to put out higher end damage, so not one that you want to make a focus on getting, but definitely one that's fun to use and being able to try and get some unique gameplay out of. And the next one we have is the Fishing Hook with the blue priority. This is by no means a bad melee weapon, but I feel as though there are other sights that outperform it in terms of damage, one of them being the Steam Thrasher and the other being the Reaper Scythe, but those are just my personal choices on scythes as well. And the next slot we have the Betsy, which is another really high-end sniper. Very good at single target damage output. It's pretty much a replica and an exact identical copy of the Spyglass, just without the ability to scope in on it, and it uses an iron sight, so another one that you really want to get your hands on. Sir Hootie with a green priority, not something that you want to be using in terms of a melee weapon. We've got Ragnarok as a purple priority because he is very useful in the ability damage output builds. Honestly, one of your better choices when using Seismic Smash, but since abilities aren't as high end as weapon builds in terms of loadouts, you kind of lose out on damage in terms of only using abilities. And he's much like Bladestorm Enforcer, where you boost those abilities really well based upon the commander perk that they provide for the abilities. Bladestorm is really good with kunais, but since kunais aren't really that useful in terms of higher end gameplay, they kind of receive a lower priority in terms of overall usefulness and being able to go after the things that are in the birthday llama. And they actually receive a better priority because all of these mythics that are on the sheet, you want to make sure that you're trying to pick them up because they'll unlock team perks for you, so you don't want to miss out on team perks that are going to be available through unlocking mythics if you don't have them. Same with Field Agent Rio, she's another one that's going to be able to give you a team perk if you don't have it, but in terms of commander and support bonuses, she's not going to be very useful to you. Up next we've got the Love Storm event where we had the Sir Lancelot, and this is arguably the best spear in the game. I would closely put it next to the Atomic Light Expander, but I feel as though it does come out on top. I'm going to be looking for this one, being able to try and get some element specifics on this, so I recommend that people try and get this one, being the best spear in the game, and keep your eye out for it. In the Fortnitemares, we've got Plague Dr. Igor receiving a green priority. He's not very useful with his commander or support perk as well. The same with Sentry Gunner Earhart. She's not going to be that useful in terms of using abilities because Rosie does not have that high of a damage output, and it's also on a really long cooldown. Sanguine Dusk is not going to be a very good choice in terms of usefulness. It is a unique style of gameplay that if you want to try it out, you'll be able to use her in your commander slot and be able to phase shift through enemies and get siphoned health back and be able to get a bit of survivability that way when using Outlanders, but not something that is very useful overall, just more of a niche, unique type of playstyle. We've got the Last Word, which is one of the best pistols in the game, easily receiving an orange priority as well. Ghost Pistol being a lower priority pistol in the game. This is something that we all wanted to be good and it became a meme, so unfortunately you can stay in the green priority. 6 Feet Under is another green priority melee weapon, not something that you want to really look after, although I believe that you can put a movement speed build on this, so if you are looking for a melee weapon to be able to pick up your pace and get around the map easier with a movement speed build on it, this is something you could look out for. Just wanted to mention that. Candy Corn LMG is one of your better LMGs that you can be going for in the game. It's definitely an orange priority, something that you can be able to use in LMG builds and reliably get a lot of damage on. It is locked to physical, but you can be able to use this in many miss monster cases, so keep an eye out for this if you want something that's really good in terms of high single target damage output and being able to keep consistent damage. The 2-step is going to get a blue priority because it is a pretty average shotgun, not one that's on the higher ends. It does put out some pretty good damage, but not something that you're wanting to prioritize over other shotguns. Crankshot is a pretty decent sniper rifle and can be very useful with Sub-Zero Zenith and being able to freeze targets and make use out of that. The Swan is going to receive a blue priority. I feel as though there are other LMGs that are better, like the Candy Corn LMG, but this is one that is an assault rifle that could put out some pretty good damage output, and it also has a unique 6 perk that stacks crit rating, much like a lot of other fortnitemares 6 perk items, and being able to get that uniqueness and being able to get that crit rating. You normally weren't able to get that before. They definitely added a unique perk on these, so keep an eye out if you want to try it out for that. The next slot we have the Drifter with a green priority. One of your melee weapons that's not really going to boost you all that much. The same with the Axle. It's another axe that is decent in the game, but is not going to outclass other axe choices. Quickdraw Calamity, this is definitely one that you want to pick up. Not a lot of people are using her in the commander slot, even though she is a really good choice to be able to use there, but she's another that's like Redline Ramirez and being able to definitely get a reliable support damage bonus in terms of being able to get a bonus that adds damage onto your build. So keep an eye out for that one if you really like pistol builds. Dyer is going to be a medium priority. He doesn't do much. He just adds some movement speed on being able to get around the map at nighttime and during the evening. That's his perk, but you do want to pick him up. Make sure that you get him because of his team perk as well. Jingle Jess is going to receive a blue priority because Teddy's took a pretty big hit with the hero rework, so you're not going to be seeing a lot of Teddy builds around, but she is one of the better Teddy Outlander ones that you can go for, and certainly one that you would want to put in the support or the commander slot if you're going for Teddy builds. Sentry Gunner Krampus is like Sentry Gunner Earhart. Rosie's just not strong enough. It's on a long cooldown. You won't really be trying to get this one too much. Ice Queen is a high priority purple. This is one that is borderline orange priority and something that can be really useful in terms of being a great support to your team, being able to freeze targets with Seismic Smash. Keep an eye out for this one because she does have unique perks in being able to freeze, but the unfortunate side effect is that abilities aren't something that are really top damage in the game right now. So if you want to try and keep your eye out, get her, and maybe in the future when they do some rework on abilities to make them even more powerful, we can see a lot more use out of things like the Ice Queen. We've got the Ginger Blaster up next, one of the better pistols in the game, another that could be argued for orange priority. I personally put it in the purple priority and make it a high priority choice just because it's locked to physical, and that does make it more of a miss monster killer. However, the Jack's Revenge is something that is far going to exceed any expectation in terms of being able to put down miss monsters. So when you have something like the Jack's Revenge in the game, you aren't really going to be trying to go for this one, but this is definitely one that could be argued for orange priority. So if you want to try it out, get it. It's got a good crit build that you could put on it and go for that. And up next we have the Tree of Light with the blue priority. One of your pretty decent swords in the game. I feel as though it is outmatched and it can be beaten by other swords in the game. Pop Shot is another pretty good shotgun, but it's not one that takes the cake anywhere. It's something that's pretty moderate in damage. Guardian's Will is another sword that is pretty good, but won't be able to beat anything like the Spectral Blade, which we have up next. And this is arguably one of the best swords in the game, if not the best. Definitely an orange priority for sword melee weapons, and is definitely one of the weapons that changed the name of the game in terms of melee. And that finishes out the Frost Knight section. We can move into the Yar section with Hybrid at a purple priority. This is not something that is really useful in Commander and won't be able to see a lot of use out of. The reason that I put it as a high priority is only because it adds an affliction tick on your support bonuses. So if you're using Deadly Blade Crash, this is something that could be really useful in being able to put it in the support slot and get a good bonus out of having that extra affliction tick with Deadly Blade Crash in your commander. However, a lot of people won't agree with this. It's just that Deadly Blade Crash is such a strong commander for melee weapons, and this one is something that could be put in the support team to really boost that as well. So keep an eye out for it if you want to be able to have something that could go along with a really strong melee weapon build and maybe be able to make some use of it in the future. Up next, we've got Bomb Squad Kyle with a blue priority. This is mainly because he doesn't offer that much in terms of being able to put out any damage output, but he does add a pretty good support bonus and being able to put some armor in the build. So if you're looking for some mitigation and being able to take some more hits, this is one that you can use. Bunny Brawler Luna is a green priority, another one that is not going to be very good in terms of damage output or usefulness in commander or support. Same with Cottontail Eagle Eye, it's another one that doesn't give that much bonus in terms of damage or support into the build, so something that won't really see that much use. And the same with Dashing Air Ken. All of them were not really that useful, but they were all really unique and had a great aesthetic appearance. And in the next slot, we've got Buccaneer Jonesy with a high priority. This is definitely one that can be unique in terms of being able to mix up the build. He offers a unique bonus when using swords and pistols, so definitely a unique style of gameplay if you want to try him out. Crossbones Barrett, this is an orange priority because with Blast from the Past coming in recently and the way that all the builds are really allowing for survivability with that, this is one that allows the ability to get a lot of heals from the coconuts, and so you definitely want to have this as a support item and being able to use it in the team. Make sure that you pick this one up because a lot of people have been wishing that they had this one when the Blast from the Past perks started coming out. The next one we have is Swashbuckler Keelhaul. She's basically the opposite of Buccaneer Jonesy. She does add good bonuses to the sword, I believe, if you do pistol damage. Buccaneer Jonesy is if you use a sword you get pistol damage, but they're both some pretty high priority choices that you want to keep an eye out for because of the unique playstyle that they offer. Privateer Hype is going to be one that is really useful for clubs. She's going to get that high priority because she's one of the only heroes in the game that actually boosts clubs. The next slot we have the Cannonade, which can be used to clear out buildings if that's how you like it. A lot of people don't really see the use of having to do that. They usually use an Obliterator. In terms of damage, it's pretty moderate, but not one that you would choose in terms of other rocket launchers and the availability for damage that they provide. The Double Boiler is going to get an orange priority because this is one of the best single target shotguns in the game, and it also provides some pretty decent AoE clear ability, but definitely one that you want to keep an eye out for if you want a good Mist Monster killer for shotguns. The Duet is going to get a blue priority because it is a pretty moderate LMG. Not a bad LMG by any means, but it is pretty lackluster in comparison to other ones that are available. Corsair is going to be a high priority sword that you can go after. It's not quite as good as the Spectral Blade, but it is one that is a pretty reliable damage output. We've got the Jack's Revenge up next, which is arguably the best pistol in the game. It's got an orange priority due to it being so useful with single target damage output and being able to deal with mist monsters very reliably. You definitely want to try and get one of these while it's available because of how unique and the ability to get reliable mist monster kills with it. So keep an eye out for this one for sure. Steam Piston is going to be a green priority. It's not something that put out a lot of damage, and it certainly was an assault rifle that I felt was underwhelming in its use. Bon Voyage is going to get a green priority because there are other snipers that are pretty useful in their areas. However, I feel as though this is not a bad one, just not a very useful one when you're taking into account that there are other snipers that provide better and more reliable damage output. Then you have the Steamroller, which is a pretty decent pistol in terms of damage, but it's much like a lot of the other weapons that are on this list where it's outclassed by others and it doesn't really have a high priority in being able to actually make it a focal point to try and obtain. And then the Baron is another high priority weapon. It's a hammer that has a lot of high damage output and the ability to put out some pretty good things with the crit build. So if you are interested in hammers, you might keep your eye out for this. And then the last one that we have is the Steam Thrasher. This is arguably the best scythe in the game due to its ability to clear out large groups of husks with its spinning heavy attack. I know a lot of people are huge fans of this one, and it's definitely a top tier choice to be able to clear out large groups of enemies. That's all that's going to be available in the birthday llamas. I'm sorry if this took a little long. I didn't mean for it to be drug out, but I certainly wanted to get some reliable information out to you guys and show you the reason for why some of these would be important and the priority that they actually hold in terms of other things that you might be wanting to go for. So I wanted to help you guys in order to understand, because I know a lot of people have been waiting for this birthday llama and I know a lot of people are excited to get the things that they've missed out on in the past. But that's it for this video. I hope you all found this information helpful. I wanted to get it out to you before the B-Day Llamas arrive so you'd be able to know what you're looking for and try to make a decision on some of the things that you might want most. Let me know in the comments what you might be going after, things that you've been looking for a really long time and are excited to be able to get out of this B-Day Llama. And also leave any feedback about some things that may not have been in the B-Day Llamas that you might have been looking for, because I know that there have been some in the community that wanted to see some of the year one stuff that was available in the past B-Day Llama but is not going to be available in this year's, and any of the other things that you may be potentially excited for, like the emotes and stuff that might be following with that, such as wraps and maybe even some other skin customizations that might come to the game. Just a guess, it may not be actually happening, but we can only hope for the best and being able to see a lot of that stuff enter the game in Season 10. Thank you all for watching this video, and I really appreciate all of your support, and I'll see you in the next one.